It happened on Christmas Eve. No shouting. No warnings. Just a closed office door and words that didn't sound real. An hour later, I was standing outside with a box in my hands, watching everyone else hurry home to their families. I should have gone home too. My daughter was waiting. The porch light was probably on. But instead, I sat in my car, engine off, realizing something worse than losing my job. I didn't know how to walk through that door without breaking. Before we start, if you've ever had to be strong for someone when you were falling apart inside, subscribe. This story is for you. I sat there longer than I should have, staring at my reflection in the darkened computer screen. Tie loosened. Coffee cold. The words "we're letting you go" still rang in my ears, like they'd been said over a speaker instead of by a human being. Christmas Eve. Of all days. They didn't even pretend it wasn't cruel. They said it was just timing. Timing. That word followed me as I packed my desk into a cardboard box that used to hold printer paper. A mug my daughter painted in kindergarten. A photo of her missing 2 front teeth, smiling like she knew something the rest of us didn't. I turned the photo face down before anyone could see it, even though the floor was empty. Old habit. Protect the soft stuff. In the elevator, I practiced what I'd say when I got home. "Hey, kiddo. Daddy's job ended today, but we're okay." I tested different tones in my head. Casual. Confident. The kind of voice single dads learn to master. The kind that keeps fear from leaking into bedtime stories. The doors opened to the lobby, and that's when it hit me. If I went home right now, I'd have to be strong. Immediately. No pause. No cracks. I'd have to smile through dinner, help wrap gifts I bought on credit, and pretend tomorrow was just another day. And suddenly, I couldn't do it. I couldn't carry it yet. So I walked past my car. The city smelled like snow and exhaust. Christmas music drifted from somewhere, too cheerful, like it didn't get the memo. I shoved my hands into my coat pockets and kept walking, letting the crowd thin out until it was just me and the sound of my own thoughts. That's when the questions started getting loud. How long could I keep this together? What happens if I don't? I checked my phone. 3 missed calls. All from home. I imagined her sitting on the couch, socks mismatched, waiting for me like she always did on Christmas Eve. The guilt hit hard, but so did something else. Fear. Real fear. The kind that doesn't scream. It just settles in your chest and refuses to move. I ducked into a diner I'd passed 100 times and never entered. Warm air. Coffee. A few other people who looked like they were avoiding somewhere too. I slid into a booth and finally let myself breathe. That's when my phone lit up again. And this time, it wasn't from home. The name on my screen wasn't one I expected. It was Mark, my old supervisor from years ago. The one who taught me how to survive layoffs by pretending they were just career turns. I hadn't talked to him in almost a decade. I let the phone buzz once more before answering, already feeling like this night was testing me on purpose. "Hey," he said, voice low. I heard what happened. That stopped me. I hadn't told anyone yet. Not officially. Not out loud. Saying it would make it real. I stared at the laminated menu, at the Christmas-themed placemat with a cartoon reindeer, smiling way too hard. "Yeah," I finally said. Guess the universe had plans. Mark exhaled, like he'd been holding his breath for me. "Listen, I'm in town. Grab a coffee with me." I almost said no. Almost said I had to get home. Almost said anything that would put distance between me and this feeling. But the truth was, I didn't trust myself to be alone, and I didn't trust myself to go home yet either. He walked in 10 minutes later, snow still clinging to his coat. Same tired eyes. Same calm presence. We talked about nothing at first. Traffic. Weather. Old coworkers who'd vanished into other lives. Then he leaned back and asked the question I was avoiding. "So what are you going to do now?" I laughed. A short, hollow sound. "I've got a kid. So, whatever keeps the lights on." He nodded slowly. "And what about what keeps you standing?" That question landed heavier than the firing did. I thought about the past 5 years, how every decision I made was about stability, about being reliable, about never letting my daughter see panic in my face. I told myself that was strength. But sitting there, I wondered if it was also avoidance. Mark slid a business card across the table. I can't promise anything. But there's an opening where I work. Temporary. Not glamorous. Temporary. The word felt like both a lifeline and a warning. I tucked the card into my wallet without committing to anything. Hope felt dangerous tonight. When he left, the diner felt quieter. My phone buzzed again. A text this time. Dad, are you okay? No emojis. No extra words. Just that. My chest tightened. I typed and deleted 3 replies before sending. Yeah. Just running late. Love you. I stared at that message for a long time, wondering when she got old enough to sense things I wasn't saying. Wondering if my silence was already teaching her something I didn't mean to teach. Outside, snow had started falling for real now. Thick. Quiet. The kind that makes the world feel paused. I paid the bill and stood there, coat on, keys in hand. I still didn't go home. Instead, I drove toward the one place I swore I'd never need again. And halfway there, my phone rang. I almost didn't answer. The road ahead blurred under the streetlights, snow streaking across the windshield like the world was trying to erase itself. The phone kept ringing in the cup holder, lighting up the car in short pulses. Whoever it was could wait. Everyone always could. But something in my gut told me this call wasn't patient. I picked it up without looking. Yeah. There was a pause. Then a voice I hadn't heard in years. Hey, it's Sarah. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Sarah. My daughter's mom. The person I'd learned to talk about carefully, like a fragile object you don't want to drop even when it's already broken. How did you get this number? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. She laughed softly. Still the same you. I asked your sister. Of course she did. She didn't waste time with small talk. I was calling to wish Lily a Merry Christmas. She didn't answer. That sentence hit harder than it should have. Lily never ignored her calls. Even after everything. Even after the disappointments and missed birthdays. Lily always answered. I glanced at the clock. Too late to be coincidence. She's fine, I said. Too fast. Probably helping my mom with cookies. Another pause. Longer this time. You don't sound fine, Sarah said. I wanted to end the call. I wanted to pull over and scream into the quiet snow. Instead, I kept driving toward the low building with a blue sign glowing in the distance. The place I promised myself I'd never have to explain to my daughter. Bad timing, I said. It's been a day. I heard about your job. That made 2 people now. I wondered how many more knew before I'd even processed it myself. News travels fast, I muttered. Especially when you disappear on Christmas Eve, she replied gently. No accusation, just observation. That somehow made it worse. I pulled into the parking lot and turned off the engine. The silence felt heavy. The building loomed in front of me, windows warm and dim. I rested my forehead against the steering wheel. I lost it today, I said quietly. Not just the job. Something else too. I didn't say what. Sarah didn't rush to fill the space. She never had. Lily called me, she said. She asked if you were okay. That cracked something open. My daughter had reached out to the one person I tried so hard to protect her from needing. Not because she didn't trust me, but because she loved me enough to worry. I just needed a minute, I said. I didn't want her to see me like this. Like what? I swallowed. Like someone who doesn't have answers. Sarah sighed. You know she doesn't need answers. She needs you. I stared at the entrance. At the sign I thought I'd never walk under again. Maybe I'd been running from the wrong thing all night. Then Sarah said one last thing. Quiet, careful. She's not asleep. She's waiting. I closed my eyes. I stayed in the car longer than I should have. The engine was off, but my foot kept hovering over the brake like I might need to move fast, like something bad was about to happen if I chose wrong. Snow piled gently along the windshield, soft and patient. The world wasn't rushing me. I was the only one doing that. She's waiting. Those 2 words kept looping in my head. Not crying, not panicking, waiting. Like she believed I'd come back eventually. Like I always had. I finally opened the car door and stepped into the cold. The building's automatic doors slid apart with a quiet hum. Warm air brushing my face. The place smelled like disinfectant and old coffee. Familiar. Too familiar. Years ago, after the divorce, I'd spent a few nights here pretending it was temporary, pretending everything was under control. The receptionist looked up, then softened when she recognized me. That hurt more than if she hadn't. "Back again?" she asked gently. "Just for a minute," I said. I didn't know if that was true. I sat in one of the plastic chairs, staring at the floor tiles. The place was quiet. Most people had gone somewhere else for Christmas. Somewhere they belonged. I wondered if belonging was something you lost all at once, or in pieces you didn't notice until it was gone. My phone buzzed. A text this time. "Dad, I left the porch light on." I exhaled slowly. Porch light on. That was our thing. When she was little, she'd insist on it anytime I worked late. "So you can find your way back," she used to say, like I might forget where we lived. I stood up. The receptionist glanced over. "Everything okay?" I nodded. For the first time that night, it wasn't a lie. "Yeah, I think I am." The drive home felt different. Still quiet. Still heavy. But pointed. Like every turn was leading me somewhere instead of away. Houses passed by glowing with Christmas lights, imperfect and messy and alive. I pulled into my street and spotted it immediately. The porch light, bright against the snow. When I opened the door, the house smelled like cinnamon and something slightly burned. Cookies, probably. Lily sat on the couch in pajamas, knees tucked to her chest. She looked up so fast I felt it in my chest. "You're late," she said. Not angry. Just stating a fact. "I know," I replied. "I'm sorry." She studied my face like she was reading something between the lines. Then she scooted over, making space. I sat down, and she leaned against me without asking. "Did something bad happen?" she asked. I thought about lying, about softening it, about being strong the way I always tried to be. Then I remembered what Sarah said. "I lost my job today," I said, "and it scared me." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Okay." Just that. No panic. No questions. She reached for my hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. "We'll figure it out," she added. Not because she knew how, but because she believed we could. I held her a little tighter, staring at the tree lights blinking softly in the corner. For the first time that night, the fear loosened its grip. But I knew morning was coming, and with it, real consequences. Morning didn't ease in gently. It arrived all at once, bright and unforgiving, like it had something to prove. Sunlight spilled through the living room window, catching on torn wrapping paper and half-empty mugs. Lily was already awake, sitting cross-legged on the floor, quietly lining up the few gifts we'd managed to afford this year. She noticed me watching and smiled like everything was normal, like yesterday hadn't happened. That was the dangerous part. I made coffee and stared out the window while it brewed, phone in my hand. No missed calls. No new emails. The world had moved on without me. I thought about Mark's business card tucked in my wallet. Temporary. I thought about rent, groceries, health insurance, all the invisible math single parents due before their kids even finish breakfast. "Dad," Lily said carefully, "are we still going to Grandma's later?" I hesitated just to be too long. She caught it. "Yeah," I said. "Of course." The drive over was quiet. Snow still clung to the sidewalks, half melted now, like it didn't know what it wanted to be anymore. At my mom's house, the warmth hit us immediately. Noise, laughter. The smell of food that had been cooking too long and didn't care. My sister hugged me a little tighter than usual. My mom studied my face like she already knew. Later, when Lily ran off to help in the kitchen, my mom cornered me near the hallway. "You okay?" she asked. I shrugged. "I will be." She didn't push. She just nodded, like she trusted that answer more than I did. That trust sat heavy on my shoulders. That afternoon, my phone buzzed. An email from Mark. "Can you come in tomorrow? Just to talk." Tomorrow. Not next week. Not after the holidays. Tomorrow. I stepped outside into the cold, reading the message again like it might disappear. It felt wrong to feel hope so fast, like touching something hot after being burned. When I went back inside, Lily was sitting on the couch, cheeks flushed, eyes bright. "Grandma says we can watch a movie later," she said. Then she paused. "You're smiling." I hadn't realized I was. Maybe a little. She smiled back, but it was softer now. Thoughtful. You're still scared though. I nodded. No point denying it. Yeah, I am. She leaned her head against my arm. That's okay. You don't have to be brave all the time. That hit deeper than anything else that day. I'd built my entire life around being brave for her. Somewhere along the way, I forgot she might be brave for me too. That night, after we got home, I sat alone at the table with Mark's card in front of me. Tomorrow could change everything or nothing at all. I turned the card over, heart thudding. Because tomorrow wasn't just about a job. It was about whether I could rebuild without breaking her trust. 55555555555555555. I didn't sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, my mind ran numbers I didn't want to face and conversations I hadn't had yet. By morning I was exhausted, but clear in a way I hadn't been the night before. Fear was still there. It just wasn't driving anymore. Lily sat at the table eating cereal when I grabbed my coat. She looked up. You're leaving early. Yeah, I said. Meeting. She nodded, like she understood more than I'd said. Before I could step away, she added, no matter what happens, we're okay, right? I crouched down to her level. Yeah, I said, steady this time. We are. Mark's office was smaller than I expected. No fancy lobby. No glass walls. Just people working, actually working. He didn't oversell anything. Didn't promise security or long-term comfort. He was honest. It's contract work, he said. 6 months. Maybe more. Maybe not. I sat with that. 6 months wasn't forever. But it wasn't nothing either. It was time. Time to breathe. Time to plan instead of panic. I'll take it, I said. On the drive home, I didn't feel victorious. I felt grounded. Like I'd stopped falling and finally hit solid ground. Even if it wasn't where I thought I'd land. That night, Lily listened quietly as I explained it. No dramatic speech. No big celebration. Just the truth. So, it's not permanent, she said. No, I replied. But it helps. She thought for a moment. Then she smiled. Temporary things can still matter. That stayed with me. Weeks passed. Life adjusted. We cut back. We planned more. Some nights were still heavy. Some mornings still uncertain. But something had shifted. I wasn't pretending anymore. I wasn't hiding the hard parts behind fake confidence. One evening, while doing dishes, Lily said casually, I'm glad you didn't come home right away that night. I froze. Why? She shrugged. Because you came home different. I didn't ask her to explain. I didn't need to. I knew what she meant. Getting fired on Christmas Eve felt like the worst moment of my life. Like failure knocking loudly at the door. But not going home right away, sitting with the fear instead of running from it, changed something in me. I stopped measuring myself only by what I could provide. I started measuring myself by how present I was. And maybe that's the thing no one tells you about being a single dad. Sometimes losing your footing doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes it's how you finally learn where you stand.